There we go. With Voch to one and all. We are Shabbos Matos Masaei. Went to learn in Hashem, Sipurey about Shem Tov. Talk a little bit about what is going on. So let me just take a quick look. These are different schools from the Baal Shem HaKodesh. The Baal Shem HaKodesh used to say the pasuk, "V'inoyam Hashem Elokeinu aleinu, Masaei adin hakonenu aleinu, Masaei hakonenu, Yoshe b'ses ha'elyon." After he was lighting the candles, and also the Yom Neiron, so to prevent any problems to come. And this is the Baal Shem Tov said a person should say one kapitel of Tilim after davening in the morning, according to how old he is. In other words, if a person is 13 years old, he would say kapitel number 13 in Tehillim, and so forth and so on. And it's also said, B'Shem Baal Shem Tov, it is gula for a woman who is about to give birth to the Hazim Utev in the mikvah. They said that so B'Shem Baal Shem Tov, a person makes the brachos alavona, and he says that the same way I cannot touch the lavona, the same way my enemies will not be able to touch me in a harmful manner. And he should add, and not me and not anyone in my household will suffer from any toothache. And it says, that's gula. I heard this b'shem Rabbi Levi Saboditchev, but either one is a good source. So it said b'shem Baal Shem Tov, said Tzadik V'ocha, that before you fall asleep, that the pasuk Havada Yishmoi Kenti Losoi. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu's name is Vada Yishmoi Kenti Losoi. That is Mesugol to chase away evil spirits and all kinds of mazikim. And it's a gula by the Chassidim, the Baal Shem Tov, to eat garlic in Motzei Shabbos. I'm never Malka, so there you know. And B'Shem Baal Shem Tov, schus tegen aleinu, that anybody that will wash from Elave Malka and light up 4 candles every Motzei Shabbos, he says he is assured that Dovid Hamalech alav shalom is there by his Suda. And B'ezrat Hashem, that person will not leave this world until he sees Dovid Hamalech himself. And if he needs any kind of Yeshua, any kind of deliverance, either him or anybody from his household, so he should be Sameach himself in Suda from Lav Malka. And he said, Yiboni Shalom, the merit of Dovid Hamelech alav shalom, will protect me, that I will be delivered in this specific request that I have. And he is promised from the Shemaim, Hashem Yisborach will help him. In other words, that he will see, the only prerequisite is that he will see to be Mekayim the Sudas on Lav Malka every single week. So while we're talking about this particular inyan, we spoke, I believe, for a couple of weeks during the Shurim in the Blessed Medrash about the need to get an influx of rotzon, of will from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. We spoke about the inyan of taking time, like half an hour every day, and speak about the specific traits that is beyond your pay grade. You can't overcome it. The anger could be, guarding your eyes, can be pride, can be jealousy, can be stinginess, could be any one of those things. And we actually zoomed it, for me personally, the one thing that is that sort of like tops everything is to ask to have rotzen. The Torah that we're learning now talks about, bringing down rotzen, will and volition to do what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants us to do, and to bring it down to the here and now. And that rotzen is the driving force of everything on earth. Everything in our body is being fueled and driven with that nuclear power of will. It could be a willful will, cognizant, something we're cognizant of, or it could be, the fact that we're breathing without even thinking about it, and the hearts are beating without having to will it through. But the thing that wills it all the time is a will. That's the driving force of everything. Now, the main mile of asking for half an hour for this or for that is that if you persist on it, it's not a question of whether you're going to get it or not. If you persist on it every single day, even if you falter on that particular inyan, you're asking for guarding your eyes and you fall off the wagon from that, then you get on again. Kadosh Baruch Hu considers it as if you did not fall off. But the underlying thing behind this whole thing, and this is what the Baal Shem is talking about, this is a school for this, and this is this has it's a propensity for this, and this is a auspicious for this, and so forth and so on. But the underlying fact behind it is you need to want to improve yourself, to start your avodas Hashem now. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be in your teens, you can be 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It doesn't matter. The only time that you have to act is the day and the time and the place where you are right now. The only thing that is required from you is not why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that, or why did you fall when you were 30 or 40? Why were you driven crazy during, the midlife crisis or whatever it is? That's not the thing that's required from you. You have to make tshuva, make sorry, and continue. The main thing is now. Right now. Yeah, but I'm not succeeding, or it's like it's pitiful what it is that I'm able to do vis-a-vis what is required and so forth and so on. That is not your business. This is not your concern. You have no idea what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants from you. You have no idea what level a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants you to achieve. None. Zero. The main thing is that you ask a Kodesh Baruch Hu to give you, to strengthen yourself with good returns, with good wills, with good urges to do what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants you to want, what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants you to do. What is the right thing to do, and what is just craziness, you're driving him crazy. You need the sense from the tzaddik to let you know what it is that you should wish for and what it is that you should do. And when should you say, okay, stand back and say, okay, this is what I cannot do it now, I'll do it later. When is it? No, I have to do it now no matter what. This is the only thing that you can get. You can only get this from the tzaddik the das of the true tzaddikim, the way that he gave us through their students, or to give it to their students, until you have somebody, a Rebbe, that you trust his avodas Hashem, and you come to him, you say, listen, I thought that I know this is a very rich person, and I thought maybe I'll come close to him and maybe I can, get money for moistus or whatever it is. And you go to your Rebbe and your Rebbe tells you, listen, stay away from such people. These people, this mega movers, billionaires, stay away from them. This is the das of the tzaddik emes. The idea is that you cannot decide on your own. You need the tzaddik emes to tell you, to let you know, through his talmidim, and you can only come to one who you trust his derech in avodas Hashem. For anybody who knows like 12 steps, they have a sponsor. The sponsor their sponsor doesn't have to be who knows what, as long as you trust his recovery, you trust his dedication to hold on to his higher power, to Kodesh Baruch Hu, to lead him to sanity. And he also has a sponsor. And the same thing, and much more so, is for anybody who serves the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Have a Rebbe, ask him, what is the right thing for me to do? And right now, what we're talking about, especially during the 3 weeks, the 3 weeks until Tisha B'Av, is an extremely auspicious time to begin in avodas Hashem. During Chatzos, during the middle of the day, the half day, it's like 12:40. So I'm not sure exactly what a Chatzos Hayom is. Sit down, sit in Chatzos. It's a school of Hamarizal. This is an incredible time to start in avodas Hashem, because these 3 weeks between Shivasa B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av is the beginning, and which is parallel to the 21 days from Rosh Hashanah until after Sukkot in Tzom Tzor. These are the beginning, these are the bookends of avodas Hashem. Now is the time to start. And the Indian in mourning for Yerushalayim is not to be depressed, is to be brokenhearted, but not to be depressed. Shlomo Carlebach used to say that sometimes a person, can be sad, but he still needs to be happy within his sadness. Very profound statement. Our strength is the fact that we are brokenhearted over Jerusalem. This is the core of our strength. I had a son of a cousin of mine called me up about this issue between the religious and the non-religious, and the demonstrations about they wanted to conscript yeshiva bachrim to the army, and the whole balagan was going on. And he wanted to hear from me what it is that he is not religious. And he said, I feel this animosity that is raising within me, and I don't know what to do with it, because I'm not prepared to live, in a state of hatred. So, like what is the common sense in this thing? So I told him, listen, I'm not going to start arguing, debating the issue about and listen to the army. Not listen to the army. I'm not talking about that. The thing has to begin. So, do you know that there were yeshivas 2,000 years ago? He says, well, yeah, the Mishnah was written like 2,000 years ago, and I said, do you realize that without there have been yeshivas 2,000 years ago, and 1,500 years ago, and 1,000 years ago, and 500 years ago, there would be no state of Israel today? Very simple, because there wouldn't be for whom. Without the yeshivas over there, the nation of Israel would not have existed. So this 2,000 years in shtetelized conditions where everybody is dumping on them and killing them and whatever it is. That spirit is the thing that enabled the state of Israel, to come into being. Okay, yes, I realize that. At the same time, you realize the state of Israel was actually established by non-religious people. Okay, can you agree to that? So we will put a headline, a name tag. The yeshivas are the Netzach Yisrael, the eternity of Israel. They are the one who is sure that what you call the eternal Jew, that the Jews are eternal. This is within the yeshiva. Eternity, the eternal spirit is within the yeshivas. Okay. Now, so in the non-religious that make up that made the state of Israel, that served in the army, whatever it is they're doing, they're in charge of the now of Israel. Okay. So this is the eternity of Israel, and this is the now of Israel. So let's agree, I told him, that without eternity, there cannot be now. And conversely, if there's no now, there's no eternity. Which means we absolutely must have each other. You as a now have to have eternity. Me as eternity absolutely has to have now. The reason for the animosity and the hatred is because you think that I bring no value to the table. I'm just wasting my time looking at these big tome books, and you don't know what the heck I'm doing. You don't know anything about your history. You don't know anything about your history. You know about Copernicus. You know about Beethoven. You know about Archimedes. You know about all these people, but you have absolutely no idea who the Ramah from Pano was. And that's your history. It's not their history. The minute that you say that you, as a secular person, said to the Haredi, you bring something that I don't have, and I cannot live without. And the other hand, if we turn around to them and says, listen, a person that sort of goes out to fight, he's leaving his family, he is putting his life on the line. You as a Haredi, you don't have that. Also, a little bit of respect, a little bit of humility. All right? I cannot without you, and you cannot without me. Oh, now we can start negotiating. How do we get along? How do we assure that the forever and the now coexist? The way that you and I, work on eternity is by working on the now. And the now is, what does the Kodesh Baruch Hu want me to do now? What's my next step? Am I successful? Am I really brilliant at it? Not so much. Do I fail? A lot. But I start again. This is my now. This is my eternity. This is the combination of eternity and now for me. This was the Baal Shem Tov, this was the Tzaddikim. The should help us, to have, a good week, and B'ezrat Hashem a good month. There'll be a month of starting in Hashem, on Wednesday, and Kodesh Baruch should help us. B'ezrat Hashem should be able to first have to be zecher to lament the destruction of Yerushalayim, which basically means to lament the animosity that exists within us. And B'ezrat Hashem will be zecher, B'ezrat Hashem, to see Yerushalayim, because when you lament, you are already zecher to see Yerushalayim, because you are working on the eternity of Am Yisrael. At Hashem will be zecher, B'ezrat Hashem, being in the Samigdash, soon B'ezrat Hashem in nowadays. And with this concludes our Moshe Shabbos Shir of Sipurey Baal Shem. Have a fantastic week.